Welcome all. In this lecture, I would like to discuss about technologies for network-based systems. So first of all, what the topics I need to cover here are multi-core processing units, multi-threading technologies, GPU computing to exascale and beyond, memory storages and WANs, what you are using, VMs, that is a virtual machines, and virtualization techniques and the middlewares what are included here, and data center virtualization for the cloud computing. So in that first we see what is a multi-core processor. So how we define a multi-core processor is, it is a computer processor integrated circuit with two or more separate processing units called cores. Means here we decide we say that the processing unit what we are using for processing the task as a core here. Means each and every processing unit is represented as a core. That is having a quad core processor, and then next octa core processors, dual core process, like that we are representing. What the core represents here is the processing unit what you are using, or processing unit what you are representing. So here what the processing unit does is here, what it will read the instructions from the program or the from the user who are given from that thing, and then it execute the instructions that give the output or the result to that particular one. So here in this diagram we have the multi-core processor representation. That is, I am taking here the four cores. These four cores are having the individual memories there, because each processing unit has an individual memory. Why so is because it is having some individuality, that is it is processing one instruction read from one program. So to process that instruction, it needs to store the data there. So to store the data, what it has to, it can't use the shared memory, because the shared memory is only is used for the cores what are representing at all, and then next processing them in the uh, means in a manner they should be used in a sequence one. So here what I do is representing here is the core what you are using is having the individual memory for storing their individual data. If in case they want to access the data from, means the four cores what you are representing, I want to access the data at once, what they do is nothing but simply mention there is a shared memory there. And how good they are interacting with this, we are using a bus interface here. And then next what we are have this, after that, after all we are having the individual memory and the next shared memory, there is also a chip called the off chip memory is there, which is the chip boundary. So this chip will look after all these cores what you are having, and then next the core what it represents here nothing but it will take, or it will read the instructions given by the users, and then next execute it, and then next process the things, and then the results will be means give the same as before. After all, in the multi-core process only, we have the different topics over there. In that first one is the advanced processors what you are using. In these advanced microprocessor chips, we have the NVIDIA, and the next Qualcomm, or the microprocessor chips what we are using here. So in this lecture, we have the representation of the NVIDIA representation of the microprocessor chip, which is used for the processing all these things, that is called the multi-core, and the next GPU environments are means included into this thing. So how we are representing this NVIDIA is, it is a multi-core architecture. Means it is having the dual core and then quad core, or many, because we can't specify that it should have this dual core or the quad core. Means any processing unit what you are mentioning can't include only two cores or the four cores or octa cores or anything like that. So based on the parallelism of execution, or the based on the execution of your processes, or the things what you are going to use, you can choose how many cores what to be used in your the processing unit, and you can specify, okay, you can use this cores for your processing. Means not at all the time for the simple processing also you are using octa core, like that. If you are using the octa core, means then you are means you want to process more data, or the processing should be in the parallel manner. So if you want to use the parallelism, or the different types of things into your things, then you should support you should include the cores into one. After all, you are using all these things, like the means without necessary you can't use all these things, because it's also a effective, cost effective there. So based on this thing, scientist Moose says that the accuracy what you are providing for the chips or the for that is a network connectivity, or is it has to be include, or it has to be grown by day or by the year by year. It has to be specified, because if you want to use the high processed and the next fast one, what you have to do is nothing but you must support the circuit which is having the high processing possibility. Means by without having the high means your network wants to you want to access the data which has the high speed. So to access the high speed of that one, what the your circuit must be designed, or the processing means what you are using has to be integrated in that way. And then the means the observation has to be done by the person, that is whatever you are designed means for what you are designed has to be means achieved or not has to be uh, means specified here. And then next what you have to do what you have to specify is nothing but if you are processing these things, it must be means changed approximately for every 2 years. Means not all the time you are using earlier ones. There could be some changes has to be provided for your circuits or for your network designs, because the fastest one means if you are performing fast one, we means fast you want the speed, means what you have to do is nothing but for the speed what you have to include all the resources for that thing what you are mentioning there. Like that what you have is there is a improvement there. So here I mentioned two representations in this graph. So for in the x-axis and then x y-axis what you are representing, that is speed, bandwidth, and then how what are the years you are taking there. And then you are having the plotting here. The plotting is with the red one is representing the bandwidth what you are using. And then next the processor speed, it is increased or not. And then next to what is the processor you are using there. So first of all we are using the ethernet. In this ethernet we are having the Intel 2861, and as well as that is a VX 11780. It is also providing the Intel 286. After that we are having some fast ethernet there. Till now and throughout that year that things, there is no any growth here, because the growth what you mentioned is very less one, because after the means between you are providing that is a Intel 2862, that is a fast ethernet, that is Motorola 68040. Up to that now there is no any growth there, because they are having only two process introduced, that is a Motorola, and then 68020 and then 68030 only. So they are supporting only Ethernet, which is not so he's having only the speed of the CPU is low. And then it's as well as the network bandwidth what it is supporting, it is also less only. If you see here, it is supporting only because up to here, that is the 680 it is supporting only like just greater than 100 mbps only. So if you are providing these type of processors for processing your data to the organizations or anything, it's not a worthy one, because they need to transfer the data to the means any organization or any person. What they need is nothing but they should need a speed one, high speed one, or also the little speed one. So between the processing of all these things what it is taking is it's a less worthy one. So after all what you took is what they done is just a fast ethernet is developed. In that fast ethernet to gigabit ethernet we are having only two representations, which is a Motorola 68040 and Intel Pentium. So these two are processing, and up to now what they are using, what the mbps they are using is that is bandwidth is 1000, up to 1000 it is using that thing. And the CPU speed what we are represent is also increasing. So if we see the growth of these the internet speed is increasing, or the internet what you are considering the mbps is increasing, the CPU speed is gradually increasing, because they are perpendicularly means they are dependent on each other. So like that, what we need to do is nothing but to have to present the data and to access the data from the other things. We need to maintain a perfect bandwidth. By this perfect bandwidth, only the processor what you are using will be access it the data, and then next it will process. If you're not providing the perfect bandwidth, or the means it is having very low bandwidth, means your processor cannot process the data, because it can't go and access the data from where it is from through the networks there. So what it do is nothing but it will ask for the processing through the bandwidth. So if the bandwidth is not the correct one for your suitable for your work, what it does is it is not providing the data. We can't blame that is a processor is not working. Yes, we make sure that the network bandwidth what you are using could be suitable for your environment. If it is suitable, means if you want to only use for the particular not browsing that all, then it will be okay. You can use a you can't use very processor speed is should be high, because you should use only for browsing. So the browsing could be done by you using a single core also. It is where you can't provide a multi core or the dual core or representatives what you are using. So there is no need of that one, because you don't need the for browsing this much of parallelism there. So if you want to take the multitasking, that is a parallelism has to be considered. What you need to do is nothing but you must choose a bandwidth which is perfect for your environment. What it does means what it supports is nothing but if you are choosing the perfect bandwidth, then what it does is it is supports the CPU speed also. And another one what here has the multi-core processor. In this multi-core processor, as I said in the earlier diagram, you are having the figure that is representing, you are having that is a single microchip. In this single microchip, what you are done is what you are representing the individual processing units. What the individual processing units are, say it is that is as a core. So what the cores are representing is it is used for the reading and the next program executing the instructions what you are giving. So what could be the instructions you are having, that is add, move, and the next data instructions, branching instructions, whatever you are representing will be processed here. So so this is a representation of your another representation of your multi-core processor. Here the core one and the core two, and here there I represented your individual memory. Here also I am taking the individual memory only, but what I am representing is the latches here, which is the catchy represented one. So we are having L1 latch, which is these L1 latch is provided for the individual cores. If you are having multiple cores which are up to n, then you have to give the catches as a up to n only, because we don't provide the core, they don't have the individual memory. Each and every core have the individual memory. And then next what they do is nothing but they have another memory, which is the L2 cache, which is indeed represent as a shared memory, because the individual memory is for their purpose only. If they want to access the memory for the other purposes or the for the group one, what they do is nothing but they will access these things to the one. And again we are having the another one, that is a L3 cache or the DRAM memory, which is off the chip. Means within the chip we are not providing, which without the off the chip you are using. So these connection will be oriented by the bus interfaces what you are using. The earlier diagram also we are having the individual memory, and then it's that is a shared memory, and then next off chip also. So what the cache is, the L1 cache represents the individual memory, L2 cache represents the shared memory, and then next what the L3 cache or the L3 represents is the either off the chip what you are using is some memory space you are using. That memory space will be processed or the stored or being accessed by this DRAM. And then next we have the another one, that is a many core one. So here we are having the another one, another indication, that is a GPU. So that is a graphical processing unit. So this in this we know the CPU, that is a central processing unit. The central processing will what the central processing will do is nothing but any instructions given by the user through a computer should be processed by the processing unit what we are using there. So here we are having the another one, that is a GPU, which is the graphical processing unit, which is also a co-processor of your CPU what you are using there. So here in which CPU it is situated is a general process, scientific one, or engineering computing, or anything what it is representing on the graphical representation, we will use this GPU computing. So what this GPU does here is nothing but here it will accelerate the applications which it is having. That is applications means which are the graphical oriented one, videos, and then next if a graphical represent pictorial representations will be there, and then graphical point represent pixel representations will be there. So whatever the applications you are using has to be run on the CPU what you are using there. And then next These CPU, what does is nothing but without GPU, what it is consuming the more memory here, and then next whatever it is accessing the code, it takes the more space also. So what it does is nothing but it is taking the way, what it mentioned is that it is a waste of the time and then waste of the space also. If it is not accelerating with the CPU, if it is sorry GPU, if it is accelerated with the GPU, what it does is nothing but it is only some portions of the code, means not all the code, only some portions of the code only work on the, means will execute on the CPU. And then next whatever the data associated with that portion of the code will also be accessed by the CPU. And then whatever the application still represents, that is a remaining application will be there, that will be handled by the GPU. If you see, the overall application will be accessed by the CPU only. And how we are going to divide is here the processing is only the portion which is relevant to the CPU will be allocated to that one. And then next what we are doing is nothing but the remaining things will be handled by the GPU. Why this, why we are using, or why we are proposing like this, means by this what we do is nothing but we won't pressurize the CPU, that is you have to um, process this massive application or process this application at once. And then next by processing these at once, what it does is nothing but it won't run faster, or it won't access these things because the parallel processing what you are representing won't be means available, because the application what it is representing means other than the GPU, means it's a very heaviest one, means when you are compared to the CPU and the GPU. So when it is shared with the GPU, what it does is nothing but it will run the application what you are specifying, it will run faster. And then it's the parallel processing what you are mentioning for the CPU and the GPU will be achieved. And this type of the computing what I mentioned, that is a boosting performance or the parallel processing or the consuming that is dividing the code or the partitioning the code to the CPU and the GPU is represented as a heterogeneous or the hybrid computing. So this is the representation or the of a GPU architecture. So here we are using the, means here the GPU also we are using the processors what we are having the multi-core one. So multi-processors are there. As well as we are designing for the CPU, there is also a multi-core one. Here also GPU uses the multi-core one. So what is the difference between the CPU and the GPU, means the CPU will use for the only the limited number of the process we are having. That is, it can use a 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 like that it is using. But when you are compared with the GPU, it uses many cores at a time, because it is not means if you are comparing the CPU and the GPU, what it does is nothing but the cores present in the GPU are much means they are very high, or they were very more than the CPU what it is providing. So here the GPU consists of the cores what they are having. Indeed, we specify it as the multi-processors. In this process, we are what you done is nothing but we divide the processes into the multi-processing environment you are giving there. That is, multi-processing means each and every processor will access the one process and it will be executed there. So we are having the process GPU processing unit. In that we are having the multi-processing other than a core what it is present in the CPU. Here multi-processings will be executed simultaneously. Other than this memory, what you are choosing for this CPU, that is a main memory, this GPU maintains another memory, which is the device memory for it is for its processing, for its processing of the cores or for its processing of the multi-process what you are having. And these device memories and the memory has to will have a connection or the way, why, because it has to, if you have to store the data to the memory or you have to access the memory, then you need to provide the connection also. And then next whatever the things means given to that is there could be a portion of the code has to be executed on the CPU, means it will be connected to the CPU and it will be accessed. So these are represented in the dashed lines because they are presented but they are not be, means they means they won't act, means what we represent is it won't take part as long as we consider the GPU, means if you compare, if it is taking the 100%, when CPU is compared, then it takes the only 10% or 20% like that. So like that, it is situated here, but it not be considered there. So what are the differences between the CPU and the GPU is? So like I said, we are having only cores that are represented 4, 8, 2, and then next 16 are like that, like that we will include. But if you are specifying the GPU, they consist hundreds of small cores will be there. Means For the inbuilt, what it is specifying is, it is, I am having much cores when compared with the CPU. But when you are comparing, or the when you are working together with this one, what they do is nothing but they will have to access the data, and then next they run the application, and then next they have to process also. By that, what to do is nothing but they have to share the memory, and then they have to access the memory there itself only. And what are the things we are, why we use these GPU is nothing but which are highly represented by the HPC, what you are using. That is a high performance computing. Because when the cores are increased, the parallelism will be completed. We included the when the parallelism is included, the process what you are specifying will be uh, means executed fastly. That is a, there has to be considered a speed. So there, that's why what you are using is, we are using the, we are going to access the high performance computing here through this GPU accelerated applications. So what is the main difference here for the CPU and the GPU architecture is, so here the task what you are mentioned in the CPU, or it is based on the clock speed. So but means it is based on the, that is you are represented by the clock only, and they are, what you are representing can be concurrently executed. But while considered with the GPU, it's not based on the clock speed, it is based on the another, means it won't consider the clock speed there or there. What it does is nothing but it parallelism is considered, and it is going to execute the things as early as possible. These are the some differences, and this is the representation of the CPU and the GPU here. So as we know that the CPU, that is control unit, ALU, and then is cache will present in the processing unit. So as well as I'm not memory mentioning the memory there. We are mentioning only the cache here, and we are having the GPU here. So GPU, what the three representations are, the units what we are using here. So what the three, why we are using this number of representation is, these are the 4 cores I am using here. So likewise, what I am using here is nothing but multi cores are there. I'm not, we are not installing, we are not processing all these things. What the GPU inbuilt, when we are processing, when we are executing, when we are handling with the GPU, what it does is nothing but it simply take the ports like that only. So for each and every core, if you see in each and every row, so each and every core means each and every row is having a different one, which is the yellow one is represented by the control here like that, and that what is the orange one is representing the cache what you are using here. So each and every, this is the number of things what you are having. So these are the multi processors you are having. So here, if you count these, they are more than 10, more than 10 process what are they. If you count this, there are only 4. If you consider only, if you go for the octa, then it will be 8. So if you see any GPU, what they do is nothing but they will consist of these small cores only. What it does here, it will maintain a control and the cache for their purpose, and then it's for their access only. So when compared with this one, when computation, this is the low one, and then next high one. When comparing to the control logic, what is having, it is means it is completely concentrated the complex control logic, and then next it is for the high computations per memory access. And what it is specifying is the larger caches what you are in, that is L1, L2, L3 what you are providing. And then next is it is only using for the memory access what you are having, that is a device memory. And the another one is the optimizer for the serial operations. We are having the, that is in processing unit, what the type of the operations we are using, it is accessing only the serial one. When coming to this one, it is, what it is doing is nothing but it is having the parallel one. Why it is considering the parallel one here is, the answer is, here the ALU, what you are doing, you are providing the multi ones, we are giving the multi individuals only. Wherever it is providing the parallel things only, when you consider the, means when you comparing this one, this will acts as a serial one, and then will this one acts as a parallel one. And then next what the another one is the executions units what you are mentioning, or the fewer. So why it is what the core you are using means, what based on the octal or the 4 or the any dual quad, or where based on that one what you are doing, you are providing, that is I am using this much of code. The core will decide how many ALUs you are having. It is inbuilt, it is having the parallel execution units, that is if for the one thing it is maintaining more than 10 here. So how it is represented, it is executed on the higher clock speeds, but it is based on the graphics what you are using. So and then next what the things what you are using are shallow, and then next here are the deep pipelines are using. And then next the tolerance is very low, here it is high. Why it is high is, it is based on the, it is processing, it is completely based on the speed what what I am not using. It is based on the data what it is received, and then for this particular amount of the time has to be specified. So these are the several several things we are comparing with the CPU and then GPU. Another thing, another one we are having is the second one is multi-threading for technologies. So as we know that it's a multi-threading concept where how we are going to support. This is an example I took that we are having the process which is having the some threads. What we are going to share here. So in this multi-processing unit, what we are sharing, that is we are sharing the time or anything, shared memory is there. And here, what I am sharing in this multi-threading concept is I am sharing the time here. So based on the time sharing, what it is, the thread one will execute and the thread two will execute like that. So if you see how I am going to place all these things here, so the thread one is executing for this particular amount of the time, and then next it will go to the sleep mode, and then next the thread two is executing, and the next thread one is again executing. So this is the representation what I took here. So how it is going to process or how you want to take it is sharing the time here. And coming to the multi-core, what you are representing, you are taking the multi-process, and you are what you are sharing there is you are sharing the memory spaces here, and the time at the time they are also executing parallelly. They also considered while coming to the multi-threaded technologies or the multi-threaded. What it is doing is nothing but it is taking a simple process here. So what you are doing is you are taking a problem and you are dividing into the process. Here what we are taking is you are taking a process only, and we are assigning the threading here. What the threads do is nothing but it takes the same code, and then next it will have the different datas also. So based on that, what it does is say here, it will take the share time as a sharing component, and then next execute all these things based on the timing only. So after that, we have the third one, that is the GPU. What you are using GPU computing beyond, that is exascale and beyond. So here in this GPU, how we are representing is the GPUs. It is a graphic co-processor which is on the computer graphics card or video card what you are using. So here, what is the work of the GPU is the GPU offloads the CPU. Offloads. Why it is representing of the offloads is nothing but it won't stress the CPU to do this work. What it does is nothing but shares the CPU work. So as I said earlier, what it done is nothing but it is going to take the code to the CPU, only the piece of code only, means only some portions or some partitions what you're representing, not all the code, and not even pressurize the CPU to perform this one. So what it does here is nothing but it is going to help the CPU what you are using to perform. Why we need to do is nothing but to perform the graphic task, not the task what you are mentioning here. What we need to do here is nothing but we need to perform the graphics task in video editing applications here. So what is the first GPU we are having? The GeForce 256 is which is marketed by the NVIDIA in 1999, is the first GPU system what you are having. So which is having the some processing units in which it helps the CPU to process the graphical things we need. So not all the graphical representations has been supported by this processing units. What we need to do is nothing but we need to use the some several applications or like applications several using also. What we are doing, we are pressuring the CPU to do this work because it is not able to do also. So for that, what we need a separate or the different one which is only designed for that processing one. So that's why we are using the GPU which is the GeForce 256. What this GeForce 256 or any GPU does is nothing but it takes any processes if you are taking any GPU, what it does is nothing but it processes minimum of 10 million polygons per second. Means what are the GPU chips? What are the GPU chips to do is nothing but per second it takes 10 millions of the polygons and then process it, and then next means it will process and give the data here. And whatever the things we are representing or whatever the things we are presenting or apply means are present in this today's market also. So once what it is integrated, what we need to do is nothing but it should be whatever the features we are having. Means if the GPU is integrated with the CPU, whatever the features we are having with the GPU, it can be accessed by the CPU by the what it is having the multi sorry by using the processing units, or then next by using the interacting one, we can access all these things. So how these GPU works, how we are representing or where means representing it is functional, means based on the co-process attached to the CPU. Means how it is means in the earliest we are attaching the GPU to the CPUs. And then next we are now what we are doing is we are upgrading this GPU to the 128 cores on a single chip. Single chip, what we are doing is a 128 cores. What the 128 cores representing is here is, so it is doing the single works, and then what we are representing. And then next furtherly, what it is doing, 1A1 in the 128 cores, each core of the GPU handles 8 threads of instructions. Means for each and every core, what it does is nothing but it is handling 8 things. Means 8 different parallel executions will be done. And then what the threads, what you are having means if you multiply, that is this translates to a 1024 threads executing concurrently on the single GPU. What is a single GPU chip considers? A 128. This 128, what the 128 chips does is nothing but it is executing 1024 threads at once, when while processing all these things. So this is the parallelism, which is called the massive parallelism also. When we are compared with this another, that is a CPU, then it is when it is compared with the CPU. So if you say that is it is gradually means very low, because the CPU won't handle that much of threads at a time. What the GPU is doing. So what you have to do is nothing but we need to say we need to access the CPU, or we need to specify, we need to modify the CPU also. That's why what it is we need to optimize it for the latency caches what you are having. So the latency caches also use it for these CPU to just what we need to do is nothing but we need to maintain that is the speed also, we need to specify that is the throughput also. So how we are going to specify that the throughput means, here it is for single GPU, for the single one execution, how means how it is going to execute means how much it is supporting is 1024 threads it is executing. We are specifying that is it will execute this much of times. So the throughput of the GPU is very high when compared with the CPU. So by using the latency caches, and then representing that is a CDUP, what all other things, what it does is nothing but it will compatible with the means not the completely compatible. It will be compatible with the GPU what you are using here. So like that, I said CUDA. So how it is going to GPU going to model means, here we are using the another one that is called the CUDA core. So what it is doing is it is a parallel computing platform. So this is also developed by the NVIDIA, which is only for the GPU's processing. So what this GPU does, what the GPU parallel modeling does, that is a CUDA does is nothing but, so it will compute means you to maintain or to processize your CPU and the GPU, what it does is nothing but the computations what you are processing by the power. The power of the GPU, what you are mentioning, will be low, will be compatible by the CUDA what you are using. So this is the processing of the CUDA. First, what you will do is how this the CUDA is representing is this, that is a CPU one, and this is the GPU one. So what it does here is it is maintains the possibility, that is what they are different. So they are different environments. The GPU is integrated with the CPU. How it is going to process, how it is going to do is, the source code what you are processing in the, so whatever you are processing will be in the CPU only. So we need to maintain a interface between them. So what the CUDA does is nothing but it will act as an interface here. So how it is going to act as an interface, what is the work of this one is the data, and then next what you are presenting will be transferred to and fro here. So first one, what you are using, first step is we need to run the program. So the program what you are mentioned here is run on the CPU, as well as it also run on the GPU also. Then while running on the multiple environments, we need to maintain the separate memories also. That's why we have the CPU main memory and also global memory also. There is a global memory we are mentioning there. And then it's the data what you are representing is transferred between the CPU and GPU. And then it's the output what you are mentioned, what you are means the output from the CPU GPU computations will be copied to the CPU memory, because whereafter what we need to access is done by the CPU only. That's why what it does is nothing but the later on what it is having has to be transferred to the CPU. So likewise, I said the GPU will take the more instructions or the more portions of the code, and the CPU will take the less code. Like that, it is processing. So for that processing, what we need use a programming model. So for that programming model, what we need to do is nothing but we should to use a interface which makes to and fro representations there. So to make these to and fro representations, we are using CUDA. What the CUDA does is here, the CPU, what we need to do is whatever the, if you are integrated with the GPU also, what the program you are specifying will be stored in the main memory only. So the processing will be done by the main memory, sorry, by the CPU only. So here, what we need to do is nothing but parallelly we have to execute. So the code what you have mentioned in the CPU and the GPU has to be run. So the running program what you have mentioned is the CPU will be run on the GPU. And then next in between, if there is any copying will be there, in any transfers will be there, they should be done. There is a to and fro will be placed there. So if at all processing all completed, after the thing what you have to do is nothing but there could be the generation of the output. The data output which is generated by the GPU computation, means here the thing what you have mentioned is the GPU computed one has to be copied back to the CPU memory, because this one only will access the things what you have mentioned. So that's by that what you do is nothing but it will accomplish the things what it is designed for. So this is the representation of your CUDA core, and then next the GPU simple representation here. So the CUDA core is connected to it. What it does is it is for each and everything we are having is the dispatch ports are the dispatch unit, and the next operand collector, and then there is a functional point unit and the integral unit is there. Here we are having the instruction cache. We are having the lots of cores here which are interconnected by the network by using the interconnect network, and the simple functional units are there, and then even so what you have in the system, the registers will be there, the cores are there, the dispatch, and if we are having the WAP schedulers and then dispatch unit. These are particular representations we are what we are having. So what it does here is nothing but it will execute the things what you are having for the each and every core. It is assigned. It is assigned to the each and every core here. So the each and every core what does is nothing but here will execute. So this is a some simple example of your multi, that is a GPU what you are using. So we can mention the 128 cores there itself also. What the 128 cores is having, that is it is executing 8 threads, that is the 1024 threads are executing like that, we will represent here also. And then next we are having the next one that is represented as a power efficiency of the GPU. So what this power efficiency or the means, you should mention what are the advantages of this thing over the CPU here. So the benefits we are representing is the massive parallelism. Massive parallelism. Why we are not mentioning simple parallelism here is, the simple parallelism means two or more instructions, two or that is more than 10, more than 100 instructions are executed at the same time, then it is a parallelism you are consider. So here why we not consider the parallelism it as a massive means, as I said, we are having the 128 cores in the single GPU chip. It is having, that is each and every core is representing 8 threads to be executed at the same time. So if you are considering the single chip at the execution time, what it is doing? It is doing 1024 executions at the same time. So which are the individual, not the same one. So that's why we are mentioning it as a massive one. So what the GPU supports is the massive parallelism. And coming to this one, the power is also, the power of the execution is also very good when compared with the CPU. So and then what you are having is the execution speed. So execution speed is we are having the G flops, that is floating point representations. What you are taking, there is a floating point operations per second. So how we are going to take is per core it is taking the 60 G flops per watt. So what means the power representation per 1 watt it is taking the 16 gigaflops for the execution. So to run this gigaflops, what it is taking is an exaflop system. That is an exaflop system is represented as 1,000 petaflops or a point length. So that is a 1018 floating point operations per second is done per core. So for this, what it is using, only 60 gigaflops it is using. So when it is compared with the power, when GPU is requires only 1/10 less than the power of that is a CPU request. Means for example, if it is taking the 100, it is GPU requires 90. So if you are processing, means if you are processing in the nowadays GPU systems, it takes it consumes less power also when it is compared. These are the earlier or the initial ones. If you take the uh, means nowadays systems what are supporting the GPU units, it is also taking the less one here. So when it is compared the optimization here, CPU, as I said, CPU using the latency here. So that is the latency, what it is, that is the time between the request and the response. Means the latency chips or the latency caches are used, and then next the memory has been placed here. Where GPU, what you are using is optimizer with the throughput. That is, it is maintaining the chip that is that is on chip. That is not on the open management of which is on the not on the off chip. It is maintaining the on chips only. So these are the represents what you are using. These are the specifications what you are using here. So other than this, we are having one representation, one the pictographical representation here. So here I am taking the G school, that is a core that is using G flops per watt. And then next, these are the years what they mentioned. So I am having the three different lines here, the different colors. The first one, this is for the GPU, and then this one is the CPU, and then next is for the year. So electromagnetic field. So what it is representing, it is that is a linear one. There is no any growth, but here it is taking the growth here. From when you compare it to this one, it is executing very fastly, and then next it is consuming only less power when it is compared with the this one. And then you're having the another one, yeah, that is a memory storage and wide area networking is what you are having. So the memory storage is represented here. Here this cover this one. So we are also this the earlier diagram, earlier one we are using. Whenever you are presenting this one, this is the upper curve. This upper curve is represented for the processors what you are using or what they are invented. When the processor speed or the processors are increasing, what they are doing is nothing but they are including the memory spaces which are increasing. They are not maintaining the same memory space from here to here. What they are doing is nothing but including the speed, that is a bandwidth, and also what they are doing is nothing but they are including the memory also. If you are having the high speed processor and having the low memory, that is the database what you are storing is a very low, then the accessing will be very low here, very when compared to the another one. When you are accessing, when you want to access this which has the speed, means then what you need to do is nothing but then you need to increase your that is the storage space also. By that only what you need to do is nothing but there could be no buffering and the next accessing will be done. So what the upper curve it is representing is the growth of the DRAM chip, also dynamic RAM chip also, from 16 KB to 64 GB. Now 128 GB also we are using in the phones, also we are using that thing. On the dynamic RAM and the static RAM what you are using, that is completely depends upon the things what you are using. When you are refreshing your dynamic RAM, that the memory what you are maintaining at the static RAM will be different. If you are specifying the DRAM and the SRAM is a faster, but it is more expensive because it is inside the CPU what you are using there. What the traditional RAMs what you are using are also called as the DRAMs what you are having. And then next for hard drives, the capacity has been increased to 60 MB to 3 terabytes, and then next we are using the 5 terabytes also, and then next we are using many things we are included. That is a processor is supporting more memory space. How it is going to space the more memory space means it need to compete with the network bandwidth. To compete with the network bandwidth, to process with the network bandwidth, what it has to do, it has to include the memory space also. If there is a gap between these processors and the memory, means then there could be no faster computer or the faster processor will be present there. So first to access the faster speed or the faster processor speed, what we need to do is nothing but we need to maintain the high memory capacity. Then what we do is nothing but then there will be accessing and then throughput and then speed will be high only. And in that only we are having another one. Second one is the disk and the storage technology. So other than the memory space, why we are specifying this and disk and storage means we are not at all we are representing there, means we have the portable memory spaces will be there. So these portable memory spaces will be means there is a flash memory and the next SSDs are there, so which are completely based on the HPCs and the HTTP systems. And these SSDs, what they are doing is they can handle the 3 lakhs or the 1 million write cycles per block. Means if you are not we need to maintain the data within the system. Means it is okay, you are maintaining the memory space which is capable with your processor, but we need to carry our data. Means if they what you have to do is nothing but to carry the data. We need to maintain the data which is also in the consumable one. And then next, what it is nothing but it also supports the high memory spaces. For that, what we need to do is nothing but we need to have the high memory, that is a 128 GB pen drives or anything flash memories or they like that. So if you are not maintaining all these things, what this is nothing but it is taking for example, if you are not specifying, if there is no space, if it is having the complete full space, and then you will have the time to take the copying all these things. So the power consumption that there is, it will be very high. Other one, we are having the system area and interconnects. So what the system area interconnects is nothing but it is like the LAN SANs what you are using there. So here in the area, means if we are taking some nodes here which are physically connected one, they are connected to the they are interconnected. How they are going to interconnect means we are using the Ethernets switches or LANs or the bridges, something they are representing based on the things what you are representing of going to process them. So what it does here, what it means, it is used to connect the clients and servers. So what the usage of the client means, the server what they means, they maintain the data of the all the clients what they're having, and the clients can access the servers. How it is going to access the servers means they are by using the credentials and the authentication it goes. So other than the LAN, what you have the storage area network, there is a SAN is also there. So what the SAN does is nothing but it connects the servers to the network storage like disk arrays. So what the LAN does is connect the clients to servers, and then SAN does is connect servers to what are the network area, network storages like the disk arrays we are having. And then another one, you are having the network attached storage. What it does is nothing but it connects the clients directly to the disk arrays. Means by using the SAN, we won't connect to the disk arrays. We by using this NAS, what we having is the client will provide the connections to the disk arrays what they are having. And then next we are having representations like that here. There's an as and then next that is a network area storage, LAN is there, and then next SAN is there. Who will access like that? It is specifying. If you are specifying that is a the LAN, and then next SAN will be also accessed by these client hosts for the web servers, and the PCs web servers are will be there. LAN will be, and the next access the servers what you are having, and then processing will be done. So after that, we are having another one is a wide area network. You know that the wide area network, why we are using the wide area network, this is the one example we are having. I am taking one data center here. What the data center does here is it is maintaining the branch. I am maintaining 4 different things here. What is an MPLS, and then 4G LTE, and then broadband also there. So how come we are using all these things? What is the WAN wide area network? How we are going to provide these? Yeah, these 4G LTE, what it does is nothing but it will connect to the internet. But the things what you are having, that is representing Dropbox, that is clouds, Google, YouTube, whatever it is taking most of the things as a broadband here. So each and everyone are using MPLS, and then 4G LTE, and the next broadband there itself only. So the LAN what you are using for the only the connection oriented one, which is the having the one system. Means for example, in this branch I will use the LAN, in this branch I will use an in this branch. If you I want to connect all the branches to the data center what I am providing or what I am going to access, then I need to use a network which is the wide one. That is, we need to connect from the location to location what we are using. So within the location only it is not providing, the location to location we are using. So what are the things we can access? Means to access the data from here, what are the things I need to include? I can include the things as MPLS, 4G LTE, and then it's broadband also. And you can use anything. We can use these 3 things along also, because all the if the broadband is not present, we can use a 4G LTE and then next MPLS also. So these are the examples we are having in the country in the internet what it is providing. So all these branches, what they are doing is nothing but they are accessing the data here through these things what they are providing. So this is the example for the wide area network we are having. And the next another one which is the fourth one, what is the virtual machines and the virtualization. Okay. So here, what is the virtual machine? So virtual machine is represented as a easy. single OS image at a time. So it is a typical computer which is having a single OS image at a time is represented as a virtual machine. This is not the only thing. We have the multiple things, multiple. We can define a virtual machine with at the multiple things also. So how we going to what it does is nothing but it takes a multiple architecture, that is the architectures what you are having. So means it is working on the system, means it should be a OS portable one, and then next it could be a non-portable, means it won't work on the systems what you are using. So if it is portable, means it can work on the any operating systems what you are using. So how we are going to use, why we are going to use these virtual machines, means to build large clusters, grids, and then clouds. For that means why we need to these things, why we need to build, or why we need to specify, means to increase the capacity of the computing. So and then storage, what we need to is nothing but we need to specify, means virtual means they could be there but it's not present in that manner. And then next, what you are having is that it's a cloud. A cloud is mentioned. It is a limited resource. So that means if you are accessing the cloud, means okay, well and it will be accessed, and then next it present the results what you are having dynamically. So this is the architectures we are having four different ones. This is a physical machine, and the next which is another one. So these are compared. So if this is the physical measurement, this is our one. Means we are having the hardware, operating system, and the application. Here we are having the guest apps, guest OS, and then guest representations will be there. Why we need to the guest operations between them means guest means anyone, means they are, means they outsiders, they are representing outsiders, they want to use your system. What they do is nothing but they would provide the things you can access my system. To access my system, if you don't have my they don't have operating system, means they virtually provide that you can access the system into the means into your system. From using your system only, you can go get into the another system, you can access the operating system they are having, and the next operate. And then next you are having the third one, that is a VM. That is a VM, that is a virtual machines what we are having, which is the fourth one is the dual port. Means it is a host OS. The other than with the VMM, it is a, outside it is presenting the non-privileged also, in the inside also it is providing the no present. This is a host OS, and the next we are having these things. So these are the different representations we are having. So going to the virtual machines. So what the virtual machines do is nothing but it's a architecture, means how we are going to provide the machine, means it is completely based on the architectures what you are using. So what it provides is it is provides the functionality to their your computers which is not present in your system. Means what you are having, that is nothing but if you, in the guest OS what you are doing, we are accessing another OS, means it is not present in your system. So that is not applicable in the real world, means in what we are using. So for that, what you need to do is nothing but we need to provide the some hardware, software, or the combination supplier, which are the specialized one. So and then next, what you do is nothing but we need to build a virtual machine. To build a virtual machine, what we need to do is nothing but we need we need virtual resources there. So what the virtual resources means, which are handled by the which are managed by the guest OS, and then next which are what are the things we are having is that is a VMware to run Ubuntu or Farhuru. So virtual machine means we are Ubuntu. Ubuntu we are using. That is in Windows we are not going to use the Ubuntu. You use the Ubuntu means we need to install all these things. We are trying to use the Ubuntu means what it does here, we need to access that thing. Virtually we need to access that thing, and which are processing for your data. So that's why what it does is nothing but it will create an environment to access that OS or access that application for us without installing that one. So that is the virtuality what is having. But that what you are having, that is a hypervisor as like in the earlier diagram we are having the hypervisor diagram, that which is used for the different operating system. What it does is nothing but see it is what it is doing here in the VM hypervisor. What it is providing the guest operating system and the guest apps also. And what it is doing here, that is a VMM, is nothing but it is having the host OS and the guest apps also. Likewise, what it is doing, it is providing an operating system to be in the is a single host will be there, and what it does is nothing but will take to the another environment to access all these things. So to access all these things, what it has to do is nothing but it must handle a CPU memory and then IO operations what it is having. So we can implement to the dual mode also. The likewise we are seeing in the fourth diagram what it is having. And then This is the one example we are having. So that is a guest voices we are having, that is application one, application two. These are binary files, minor and the libraries what they are maintaining. And I am having the container also, that is operating system container engine. We are having. So here we not maintaining any operating system in the container. What you are doing is nothing but you are giving only the operating system here. So what it is here is they have to use they have to commonly access these things only. But what here virtual machine does is nothing but it is giving your own environment. You can access your own OS, you can access your own things to your things, like that it is mentioning. And the next VM, there is a virtual machine primitive operations. What are the VMM operations it is providing is nothing but it has to take the full virtualization. That is the OS, what it is doing is it has to be run on this one. And then next for that one, what it is doing, what it is providing is here, these are the things, that is a multiplexing, suspension will be there. And then next what it is providing is a hardware platform, that is a suspended VMM, that is a storage one, and the fourth one we are having the migrated one. So here whatever it is having, that is it is represented that storage, it is giving the VMM and then hardware and then application software. In this one suspension, what it is taking the operating system into this the storage itself also. And again what it is doing in the suspension, it is a third one, it is providing the operating system in the another environment. Here we are providing this thing into the, this is a copy of this thing to the another environment. Like that what it is doing is there is operating the things. What is this one is the migrating, sorry, this is the migrating into this one. You are presenting here in the fourth diagram, what you are doing is you are representing this migrating. Here also you are migrating this environment, this you are in the this environment, or you are trying to go migrate into this environment. So these are the two examples for the migrations. And then next, what are the advantages? So here any hardware platform we can use to work with the VMware. And what is another one we are having, that is distributed app applications what you are having. And then what the how we are going to approach what it is enhances the what you are having utilizations of the resource servers what you are having. And then next integrated with the hardware components we are on the servers, what utilization what you are mentioning is increased very well. So from 60 to 80% it is increased very well. And then next, what you are having the virtual infrastructure. So these in this virtual infrastructure, what you are providing is what we will share. What the virtual infrastructure does is nothing but it will share the physical resources, multiple machines what we are having. And this virtual machine, what it does is nothing but it is provide the physical that is a physical computer across multiple virtual machines. That is a maximum efficiency will be there. And then next, the resources what you are should be distributed along with that one. The resources what you are using has to be mapped exactly. And then what you are doing, you are not we are using the things which are not present with you, means which are not physically presented with you. We are using the result by connecting to the internet or by connecting to the any networking possibility. By that what it happens is nothing but the cost and then is the efficiency what you are using is decreases. So if you are processing, if directly you are connecting, it is another thing. And then it's what you are doing is you are connecting to another one, means there is also some decrease in the efficiency also. We need to wait for them, means if you are directly involved in the process, means what it does is nothing but it will take the request and it will process all these things. But what you are doing here, we are not directly involved, we are using a virtual environment and you are processing to the virtual environment. That is the responses what you are using or what you are representing or could be less when compared with the direct one. So this is also one thing. So here we are representing the customers spending that data. And the next one what you are representing here, so the server spending and the next management cost. And the next uh, power and the cooling expenses what they are having, the just what it is doing, that is installed servers or the installed servers are increasing here. And the next virtual management gap is there, that is this is the gap between the virtual management and the next things. So here we take the this is the blue line. What the blue line represents is the physical server install. That is a physical server, means you are installing in your environment. And I am taking this one right one. What you are mentioned is the logical server install. So logical in server, that is they are not using any physical server. What they are using is nothing but they are also using the logical server somewhere which is not the present at that day, at that position, at that means at that environment. What they are using is they are using at the environment which is not in their under control, somewhere it is present. So this is the gap they are mentioned, because the usage of the things has been increased gradually here. And the things what they are mentioned here, the things that is a management cost, what it is increasing also. and then excluding expenses, what they say, there is no any processing. This management, why the management costing is increasing, that we are going to the virtual environment, they have to process all these things like that we represent. So you are not here any using any servers here. The server cost, what you are mentioning, the server cost is decreased here. And then there is a we are having the data cloud visualization and the cloud computing. So what you do here, that is a we have built how we are going to access these things, how we are going to access the data is mentioned here. The first one what you are representing here is the data cloud visualization here, cloud architecture. So the cloud architecture, how we need to present the cloud architecture. The cloud architecture is what are the hardware we are using and what are the network devices it has been connected. Means if you are not having the network device, means better network devices, we can't connect to the cloud, and next we won't process the clouds there also. So what the thing what you are using here is represented in the cloud platform. So what the cloud platforms you are using here is a x86. So which is the form, which is the family of the Intel 8086 processors. So on coming to the storage of these cloud, so there is a low cost here because you are not maintaining any thing here. But when you are comparing, when you are specifying the providers here, so the providers what has to do is nothing but they have to maintain the low cost terabyte disk, which is the and the gigabyte internet. So Ethernet has to be maintained to build the data center. So not an easy task to build a data center. What we need is a low cost terabyte, and then next gigabyte internet should be there to process all these things. So if you consider your data center, how we are going to consider it, means it is based on the performance and the ratio what it is providing. Means if it is providing the ratio, means the price ratio has to be specified. The price ratio will be based on the speed only, not the space what you are providing. So if you are providing the high speed data, then you will charge more. If you are providing the means I'm giving this much of the space, you have to pay like that. You need to no need to specify. Why we are using the data center is to access the data. How we are going to access the data means to access these things. Why need to what we need to present here? We need to present that the performance has to be included. And then next in that we have the data centers and then cost breakdown. So last day we are using the servers, so means thousands of the servers are used to build the last data set. And then next to build the same smaller ones means we use the 100 ones. So based on the server, based on the data center what we are using, the usage of the server will depend. If you use the larger one, you will use the thousands of servers. You will use the smaller one, you will use the hundreds of that one. So the maintaining of the data center, what the maintaining of the data center means, it is increased on the management and the next space what you are using, what the time you are spending, and the next what the electricity and the cooling price means we can, because we need to maintain the many thousands of servers. Then thousands of the servers, for the thousands of the servers we need to take them more electricity, and the cooling purpose also we need to take. So we need to specify these consumptions also when specifying the finance thing. And the next low consumption. So how you are going to low one means high end switches on the routers. What we are doing, that is a bandwidth radar networks, high bandwidth networks are there. So we need to specify all these things there. So we have to maintain a budget there. So for a fixed number of the budget, what we need to do is nothing but we need to specify the switches, networks which are desirable to you, not the means which are applicable, which are suitable to to your environment. So when if the environment is suitable for the low one, you can use the low one only. You are not go for the high cost or the high representation spec. If your environment don't needs the that much of things, means there is no need to process all these things. And then if there is any software layer has to be specified, because the network traffic will be there, because the accessing of the data means the data center to users, means it is not permitted to the user for this time only. So at this particular amount of the time, any user can access this thing. So by that, what it does here, it must be traffic occurs. So to look after the traffic, what it has to do is nothing but they has to look after the software layer, the for balancing, fault tolerance, expandability, and also what they do is nothing but they use Ethernet, what they are providing for network topology. So what are the topology what you are mentioning, or the what are the technologies you are mentioning has to be specified here. So for that, what you are using, that is a gigabyte Ethernet or anything. One means other than that one, we have used to process all these things. And the last one is we are having the convergence of the technologies. So the convergence of the technologies has been means specified in the four areas what we are having. that is a hardware virtualization and multi-core chips, and the next for utility and grid computing what we are having. So another one you are having the software oriented architecture, which has been discussed earlier also. In the coming chapters also we will discuss the what is the software oriented architecture and what it will provide. So it will provide the internet of the things, and the next what are the cyberspace cyberspace one. So these are the things it will provide. And the next web 2.0 web service in the service integration. These are all the things we are having. That is in the third area. And the next in the fourth area of specialization or fourth area of consideration, you have the autonomic computing and the data center. This is also discussed in the future. And coming to the web point when this is the second stage of the development of the internet. So what it does is nothing but the static pages what you are having has to be transferred into the dynamic one to the what you are having. That is a static page of processing what you are having is has to be transferred into the dynamic, and the next processing will be done here. So this is about you the technologies what you are using here. Thank you.